Hello, brothers and sisters. I hope y'all are having a blessed day. With that being said, let's go right into the story because I have a lot to tell y'all today, right? So with that, here we go. The advance party that had been ambushed at Poison Springs made their way back into Camden. The day after their arrival, a supply train that was supposed to meet General Banks and General Steele in Shreveport arrived in Camden. This supply train had the much needed food and ammunition, right? However, the food would not be enough to sustain General Steele's army, but for a few days. And on April 25th, General Steele sent out a 2,000-man detachment to Pine Bluff to get the necessary resources for his army. However, this detachment only made it to a place known as Mark's Mills. There, they encountered a General Fagan and 5,000 Confederates. Some of the detachment were able to escape and make their way back to Camden to inform General Steele that the 2,000-man detachment had either been killed or they surrendered, right? So it was around that same time that news of Banks's failure on the Red River reached General Steele's ear. So now General Steele now knew that the Confederates had basically surrounded him and he had no help coming. So it was decided that night they would go ahead and do a night departure from Camden heading to Little Rock. So as they prepared to leave that night, a torrential downpour began, which was a great thing on their behalf because that torrential downpour masked the sound of their withdrawal. However, General Fagan was assigned to blocking the road from Camden to Little Rock. So when he went to meet the 2,000-man detachment that Steele sent out, he also left a small detachment of like 1,500 men guarding the path to Little Rock from Camden. So when the 7th Corps broke out, before they got to the Wichita River, they encountered this small dispatch that General Fagan left behind. However, these men were not prepared for the night fighting that the 7th Corps brought with them with the 1st, 2nd Kansas. And after a brief struggle of about an hour, the remaining Confederates that were still alive fled from before the 7th Corps. The 7th Corps crossed the Wichita River and then began heading north to the Saline River. However, the Confederates had brought chase, and the delay of dealing with the dispatch that Fagan left gained them some time in catching up to the 7th Corps. Once at the Wichita River, the Confederates decided to split up. General Price and his men followed right behind the 7th Corps, while General Kirby Smith took another route, hoping to get ahead of the 7th Corps before they crossed the Saline River. However, the 7th Corps had came up upon a place called the Potter's Field before the advance party of General Price's army even got in sight of the 7th Corps. So the 7th Corps, they had came to a place after coming through the Potter's Field. They came to a place that is known as Jenkins Ferry. This place was the perfect fighting defense position, and nobody but God could have gave it to him. You see, it was a field that was about 450 yards wide, and on one side, it had an overswollen swamp, and on the other side, it had an overswollen marsh. They were both impassable. So you had to come with a direct charge. And it was late in the evening, but the advance party made their way onto Jenkins Ferry. And I guess they thought it was going to be an easy win for them. And they charged the Union line, and the 7th Corps responded with nothing but cannon and rifle fire. cutting them down in their charge to the point where they stopped and retreated for the day. The following morning, early in the morning, at the crack of dawn, General Price had his army suited and booted and ready to attack. So as the morning sky was breaking through the darkness and General Price's men were lining up to charge, the 7th Corps opened up on them with a barrage of cannon fire. It was so much cannon fire that it seemed like it was just a fog for miles. General Price's men were caught in a vicious cycle of cannon and gunshot, because the men of the first and the remaining men of the 1st and 2nd Kansas were dug in position. And when General Price's men continued to charge, the 1st and 2nd Kansas charged them and yelled out, "Remember Poison Springs," right? And they went at them. They hit them with everything. The hand-to-hand combat was vicious, and they also captured the Confederate flag. General Price's men were forced to withdraw, and they retreated beyond the cannon fire, and then they attempted a charge again, simply because they wanted to get their Confederate flag back. So as they charged again, the same thing happened. They were cut down with numerous cannon and shot. And once again, the 1st and 2nd Kansas charged and forced them to retreat. General Price's army left the battlefield. But then later on, around 4 o'clock in that evening, General Kirby Smith's Texans showed up with him. And they attempted to do the same thing. And guess what happened, y'all? They died in the same mud. And that, my friends, is the story of the 1st and 2nd Kansas Colored that I want to give you right now in these videos. You see, I have more to tell, but I want to save something for when I get the funding for this movie. There's a whole lot more. You don't even have the basis of the story yet. I suggest that you go and get my book, Kuma, the 1st Kansas Colored, and learn and research the things that I have told you in it. But in a few days or maybe a week, I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to have a purpose for it that's going to earn somebody some money. So I want y'all to continue to listen out, or keep your eye out for the next video, and it's going to say 1st Kansas Colored, my final request. And I'm going to ask y'all to join in on that, because I'm going to need y'all help, TikTok. I'm trying to get this as a animated movie. It's going to cost about $15 million, but I got a way to raise the funds, and that's what the live is going to be about. So please look out for my live, and I'm going to put another video letting you know when that live is going to be. Until then, man, may God's peace be with y'all as his peace was with the 1st and 2nd Kansas and the United States Army as a whole. Good night.